Batman Knightfall Part 1 shows you that we were never meant to do things alone. Let me break it down. So the film starts out with a group of traffickers doing business in the shadows. This group is the Cobra Cult.
They're all here.
Of course they're all here.
So the Cobra Cult is basically just snake worshipping terrorists. And their one goal is to bring about the Kali Yuga, which is basically a prophesied apocalypse.
Maybe you'll survive in Kali Yuga's new world.
Now suddenly a figure steps out of the shadows and calls them out.
You can vote with demons and call them gods.
I mean, he's right. They are worshiping demons. And he even tells them that they mistake darkness for light.
You embrace the darkness and treat it as if it was light.
This man calling them out is Azrael.
Azrael, find you guilty.
So now the name Azrael means God has helped. So off rip, it may appear as if he's a righteous figure, right? He's calling out the evil and he's doing something about it. But he's not actually a righteous figure. He's a man possessed. He was basically brainwashed by the order of Saint Dumas in order to be their living weapon. And now he believes that his violence is his divine calling.
Your cult of serpents must be punished.
Galatians 1 verse 8 tells us that even if an angel from heaven comes down and preaches a different gospel, reject it. So Azrael is an embodiment of that warning. He's a counterfeit knight with a counterfeit gospel of vengeance.
No. No, not this. Not again.
But anyway, we go back years. It doesn't tell us when, just years. And there's a woman giving birth.
Come on! Push, woman, push!
After the son is born, she's visibly upset, and she's told that her and her son are going to pay for her husband's sins.
You and the boy must pay for your husband's sins.
Ezekiel 18 verse 20 says, "The soul that sinneth shall die, and the son shall not inherit the iniquity of his father, neither his father inherit the iniquity of the son." So what happened to that child is a direct violation of that principle. See, an innocent child bearing the punishment for something that God himself said would never transfer. So she and her son are imprisoned, and she raises him to show no weakness, basically to survive and dominate.
No weakness, no pity.
Biblically, real strength doesn't come from hardening yourself against the world. Isaiah 40:31 says, "Those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength." So everything that's happening to this child is because a mother has raised him to trust in his own power and never to trust in anything else.
You do not make me strong by showing me mercy.
So now, because of a magazine, he actually takes a liking to Gotham. He vows to show Thomas Wayne what true strength looks like, and he promises to build his mom a palace in the sky. But then she dies.
And it will be ours.
He goes on a rampage, and they call him a demon, a bane to everything that's holy.
That is not a boy. That's a demon.
It's funny because the same people that imprisoned him from childbirth are now the same ones calling him a demon. That's literally Matthew chapter 7 verse 3, where it talks about worrying about the speck in your brother's eye while you got a whole beam in your own eye. Like, they literally created the very thing that they now condemn. So he gets captured again, and he's told there will be no more mercy.
But there is no more mercy here.
And it's crazy because withholding mercy, all it does is just produce more of what you're afraid of. All it does is make him stronger. So now there's this venom that's kind of like a super soldier serum that they produced, and they want to test it on strong individuals so they can turn them into weapons. And so they take him and they test it on him.
Which means you are strong. And we need strong men.
I never understood why people do these type of experiments on people that absolutely despise their guts. But of course, it works on him and he breaks free. This is Bane. Now we cut to Bruce Wayne, and he's in therapy, and he's asked what gives him hope.
So, what gives you hope, Mr. Wayne?
He doesn't know.
I don't know. A good scotch? A nice watch?
This is actually one of the most important lines in the film. See, if you look at Proverbs chapter 13:12, it says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick." See, Bruce has spent most of his life as Gotham's hope, but he doesn't have a source of his own. Any man who cannot answer what gives you hope means that they've quietly replaced God with their own willpower. And the therapist, she calls him out.
I know the mask you put on for those around you.
Basically, he's a control freak with a messiah complex.
It makes you a control freak with a messiah complex.
See, Bruce, he believes Gotham's salvation relies solely on him. Now, if you look at Proverbs chapter 16:18, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before fall. So his inability to accept limits is exactly what's going to be the result of his literal fall at the end of the movie. Then Bane, he blows up Arkham Asylum, releasing every single inmate.
The liberation of Gotham begins.
Batman goes right to work. He hasn't rested in 2 days, and he will not stop.
You haven't slept since Arkham exploded 2 days ago.
Even Elijah, a prophet in the Bible, he hit his wall. In 1 Kings 19, basically Elijah is so tired that he's ready to just give up and die. But all God has to do is put him to sleep and give him some food, and he's right back to it. See, Batman, he treats rest as a weakness, as opposed to something that God already built into creation. Matter of fact, Bruce, he's literally a part of the Justice League. So he could ask any one of them to come and help. The Flash could probably sweep the streets, Superman, like any of them could help him. But instead, he's just going to push through and do it himself.
I'm coming with you.
No, you're not.
Ecclesiastes 4:10 says, "But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath no other to pick him up." Even against Mad Hatter, who's genuinely a C-tier villain, when Robin shows up, Batman gets upset.
I told you to wait in the car.
I'm sorry. It looked like you needed some help.
And even after sending Robin home, he doesn't quit. He ends up fighting the ventriloquist.
Scarface, no!
Victor Zsasz. Scarecrow. And even after his therapist calls him to tell him to slow down, the bat signal goes up and he answers the call.
I have to go.
Bruce, don't.
Proverbs 12:15 says, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that listens to counsel is wise." Every single person around Bruce is telling him the same thing, but he's too far up in his messiah complex to even hear them. Meanwhile, Robin and Jean-Paul, who was Azrael, they're investigating together when Jean-Paul, he snaps. Robin sees it as a good thing, but Jean-Paul, he knows it isn't. So Robin, he continues investigating and he sends him home.
Batman was right. These skills can be used for good.
I didn't feel good, Robin.
See, the difference between Robin and Jean-Paul is discernment. 1 John 4:1 tells us to test the spirits to see if they're of God. All Robin could see is that Jean-Paul was able to provide results. But Jean-Paul knows deep down inside that whatever's in him is not of God. Now Bruce, he finally goes to the therapist and gets some rest. But Robin, he ends up running into Bane alone.
Come in and find out.
Bane captures Robin and he explains that he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And he also explains that he believes that Bruce Wayne has crippled the city.
Bruce Wayne has crippled this city.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like, Bruce Wayne is a billionaire, and instead of investing his money into the police force and building them up or figuring out real ways to prevent crime, he decided the best option was to dress up in a costume, become a vigilante, and take the crime down by yourself. I mean, notice the police force throughout the film, right? The minute anything happens, the bat signal goes up. Like, the police aren't even equipped for the threats, and it's because they were never allowed to develop, because Batman made them obsolete.
I've come to fix this city.
Robin, he ends up escaping. But meanwhile, Jean-Paul, he goes to church in order to confess his sins.
I saw what I did, and it was horrible.
The priest tells Azrael that God can turn evil into good.
The Lord can take what is meant for evil and turn it to good.
Now, this sounds biblical, right? Because it is. But that same priest was never really there. And then Jean-Paul, he sees a vision of a cross. So now this is not from God, right? This is the Order of St. Dumas. Now, they're heavily based off the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar, they were a religious group that claimed to do things in the name of God. And more often than not, what they were doing was not of God. That's the same thing happening here. So now Robin, he makes it back to Batman, and instead of listening to Robin's warning, Batman fires him.
They call him Bane.
You're fired.
And this is the moment that Bane pulls up. And Batman is completely hopeless against him. Now, if he would have listened to Robin, they probably could have developed a plan, because we all know that Batman with prep time is basically unstoppable. But Bane made sure to catch Batman at his weakest, with no one left to help him. So Bane beats him to a pulp and breaks his back. Then he humiliates him in front of all the people in Gotham. It's crazy because Batman is supposed to be the world's greatest detective, yet he couldn't figure out that the very isolation that he thought was making him strong actually made him weak. Proverbs 28:26 says, "He that trusteth his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered." See, Bruce, he trusted his own heart over everyone around him who tried to help him. Alfred, his therapist, Robin, and all it did was cost him his spine and his pride in front of everybody. Follow Gotham Film for more.